I scream, you scream, we all scream. Because we have kids. Hey y'all, it's Rachel. I'm back today to talk about things that we should not do when we're feeling like an angry mom. When we're feeling mad, our temper's flared, we've lost it, etc, etc. And it's not just don't yell. We're gonna move past that. We're gonna go deeper. Can't wait. So the first thing that we really shouldn't do when we're feeling really angry is an obvious one. So you know how I like to do these obvious ones. I want to get them out of the way. Is we shouldn't yell. But I want to take this back. I want to think about this for a second. Yelling in itself is not always bad. Yelling is actually natural. It depends on the circumstance. In some situations, yelling is the appropriate thing to do. At a sporting event, at a concert, if somebody's walking across the street and there's a car coming, everybody will yell or scream to get that person's attention. Yelling is actually a natural instinct that we have in certain situations when we either want to celebrate, we're excited about something, or we need to get someone's attention. So yelling in itself, it's not moral. It's not bad or good. It all depends on what's happening, what the situation is. Get that on board first, so that every time you yell doesn't mean you're just horrible, right? What it more likely means is that something so severe has happened that you're trying to get everybody's attention. So of course, we don't want to scream and yell at our kids as a habit. We know that doesn't go well. We know we're gonna be footing that therapy bill later, but it is still natural. So when things escalate to a point where you feel so powerless, so out of control, so angry, depending on what's happened, so alarmed that you need to yell, this is a signal not that you should just like go berate yourself because you yelled, but this is a signal to be like, how did we get here? How did we get to this situation? Is there anything I can do to manage the environment so we don't get here again? So I used to find my biggest times of yelling, pretty much the only time I would yell was about the house. It's like, why do kids not care about messes? Like, why do they don't care? They just literally don't care. It starts at 1 when they walk through the house and just throw everything everywhere. It's just that they don't care. I super duper big fat care. It would be like, I would yell if I would come into a room and be like, what happened? You know, and I would get mad and yell, and then I would be like, you know, and then I have to apologize for my yelling or whatever. So when I but here's the thing. I had to apologize, but I didn't really feel that bad because it was utter chaos and destruction, and it made me mad. The utter chaos and destruction is just not okay with me, and that's okay. Getting mad about it is also okay. The yelling, I didn't want to do. So instead of just going all and focusing on the yelling, I focused on the thing that was causing me to yell. I think you get the picture. Yeah, yell, yeah, you're gonna have to repair the relationship. You're gonna have to figure out some like cool calm down methods. But if you never get to the source of what's going on, you're just gonna be constantly managing the yelling. This leads me to my second point, which I kind of mentioned earlier, but it's don't go crazy managing the triggers. Don't go crazy kind of thinking about yelling and how to use your voice in a different way or walking away, or yeah, we need to do all these things, but this isn't the main focus of what we need to do. The next thing we're gonna say not to do when you're angry, do not skip the opportunity to repair that relationship. So of course, just because you yell once doesn't mean the relationship is broken forever. However, we know that when somebody yells at us, it's very kind of assaulting to our senses. For kids particularly, it's quite scary. So we want to go and have a do-over. Now I have a whole video on how to do a do-over that I'll link above and below. And I think you really need to listen to that. It's super important because this is an opportunity to go and be human. So of course, being perfect would be the best thing, but can't do that. And again, if we could be perfect, which we can't, it wouldn't make our kids perfect because they're their own people and they make their own choices. We want to go and repair that. We want to say, you know, I apologize for yelling. There was no excuse for it. I like to help my kids understand what I'm thinking so that they can learn to think critically and be more self-aware. And I'll say, you know, I saw the big mess. You know, I hate a mess. And instead of just calmly getting everybody to help tidy up, I lost it. And that's not okay, and I don't want to do that. And kids understand because kids yell all the time at each other. Well, mine do. Maybe yours don't, but I got 5. They be yelling all the time. So if I yell, they're kind of like, but they get it. They get it. They get whenever we get pushed to a point, we react. Don't be afraid to go and just talk frank and repair the relationship. The next thing you do not need to do if you're feeling like an angry mom is to guilt yourself into oblivion. If you got overwhelmed and and then you got angry, and then you yelled, and then you go give yourself a massive guilt trip, you're gonna feel twice as bad. This is gonna make you feel very emotionally down and unsettled. We're less likely to yell if we're feeling calm, in control, you know, like we have some power over our lives, like things are mostly okay and in order. We can take most things in stride, even some severe things. But if we don't have any of those, this is whenever we kind of react out of control. If you take a normal thing that was going on, you yelled, and then you need to go repair the relationship, as I said, but then if you go into this major guilt thing, you're actually going to take you down a spiral of insanity. And then down here in the spiral, the bottom of the spiral insanity, you're very much more likely to yell or escape or feel very bitter or resentful. So that's actually not an effective strategy. I talk a lot about this in the book I have coming out called If Mama Ain't Happy. You know what to do, people. I go into a lot about how we don't need to feel bad and then feel bad for feeling bad. So then we're bad twice. We're literally feeling bad twice. No, we gotta stop that. We gotta take the top layer off and get to the root. So the last thing you need to not do when you're feeling angry is to neglect taking care of yourself. Anger is, I mean, you know, you have to read more about this, like, I don't have a counseling degree, but anger is like a secondary emotion. It covers other emotions. So if we feel hurt or rejected, or we feel sorrow, or we feel helpless, sometimes that actually manifests in us as anger. You know, if we are feeling unsupported at home, or we're in a really stressful situation, maybe it's financial or job related or something, sometimes instead of just feeling sad, we get angry. If you neglect to take care of yourself, and I don't mean treat yourself like mani-pedi, I mean take care of yourself. If you neglect to do that, you're not going to sort of empty the emotional basement that you have. I talk about that in my If Mama Ain't Happy book, The Emotional Basement. This is a good one. Don't neglect taking care of yourself. If you start to see you're getting angry all the time, this is the time to say, okay, how can I take care of myself right now? Not treat myself, not a pint of ice cream, but like actual care. Do I need to get more sleep? Do I need to cut out something in my diet that's causing me to be upset? Do I need to drop some extracurriculars? Do I need to find more time alone? Do I need to sell something that's bloating the budget? How can I take care of myself? Because if you are well, the truth is you will not be as angry. I'm gonna recap. If you're an angry mom, you do not need to yell or scream. You do not need to focus on all these triggers and ignore why you're actually ticked off. Being ticked off is a sign that something ain't going right. So you should not ignore being ticked off or make yourself feel bad for being ticked off. You should figure out why you're ticked off. Tick, 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 tick. You should not neglect taking care of yourself, and you should not pass over a chance to repair the relationship. One of the best ways to help raise adjusted kids is when you make a mistake, which we do all the time, forever, until they move out, and then we'll continue to, is to go back and say, what can I do to make this right? I'm sorry, I was wrong. I would love it if you were interested in this type of topic. If you could pre-order my book, If Mama Ain't Happy, you can go to Amazon.com and search If Mama Ain't Happy. It'll show up. It's the one with the cover and the upside down duck. It's a little more expensive now than it'll be when it releases, but you'll get that money refunded. Now, go watch my next video on do-overs. This will really help you in this area.